everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be covering the exclusive Forbes interview with Diablo 4. Now in this interview, none of us were expecting it. We got some juicy details about the upcoming seasons, some new uniques, and a ton of stuff, so stay tuned to find everything out. With that, let's get right into the video. Now this interview came as a shock to many, as we just had the Diablo 4 developer live stream, which they shared a ton of info about the upcoming season, and we got this exclusive Forbes article for everybody. Now, if you want to read the article yourself, it will be down in the description and in the comments, so go down there to check it out yourself. Now, the first thing I want to talk about may actually be some negative news for Diablo. Now, this is coming straight from the developers that Season 1, in terms of seasonal size, will be smaller than all of the other subsequent seasons. Now, they did give an explanation for this, saying that mainly the team was working on actually finishing the game and not on Season 1, and that they wanted to get Season 1 out there and it started so we could start experiencing the seasonal storyline, the seasonal mechanics, everything with the seasons. So as far as strictly size-wise, Season 1 will be smaller than all other seasons. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't know how to feel about this yet. I think it's great that future seasons will have more content, but I'm also sad that Season 1 will have smaller amounts of content, as I was super excited to really dive into Season 1. Now, I do think that Season 1 will have a bunch of content overall, and I am still excited for it, but it is a little interesting to see that Season 1 is actually going to be the smallest season that we will most likely see in Diablo. Now, the next thing I want to cover is that seasons will not have time-gated missions. Now, basically, this means a lot of other games that are in the seasonal realm, what they do is they will time gate their missions to play them as the weeks roll out, so they force players to keep coming in and playing every week. Now, Diablo will not be doing this. The full storyline will be out as soon as it drops. Now, they did also iterate that this is not a major storyline. It is not another campaign. This is just a quest line, a side quest to get you used to the mechanics, how the heart farming mechanic works, and get you into the season. You're going to finish this most likely very quickly and on your way to doing bigger and better things. Now, one thing I do want to talk about that they did mention, which I have some mixed feelings about, will be the mid-season patch. Now, we just received a patch that was basically all buffs, and it was great. It made some more builds viable. Overall, I thought it was great. Overall, I actually think there should have been a few more buffs, but for what we got, I was happy with it. Now, they have confirmed that the buff, or sorry, not the buff, but the balance patch we'll be getting on the 18th will have some buffs, but will also have some nerfs. Now, nerfs happen. I'm not surprised. There are some builds right now that are just completely outperforming what they're supposed to do. So I'm not surprised for the nerfs, but I do wish instead of nerfing things, we would buff the things that aren't being used. Hopefully they will do that with just nerfing the overpowered things in the game currently. So we'll have to see to the 18th to see what effect these really have, how far they went, and really what the main shakeup for Season 1 is going to be. Now, of course, if you want to see that, I'm going to be uploading a video as fast as I can, going over all of the changes for you guys, hopefully on the 18th. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and I'll see you there, hopefully. Another thing that we learned is that nightmare dungeons are changing. Now, they're not changing in a significant way, just the rotations. So basically right now there's a set number of nightmare dungeons in rotation, and they will change every season. And this will also be true for future seasons. Now, we've known this for a long time. We've actually known this before the game was even launched. This really isn't news, just reiterating it for anyone who hasn't heard it. Now, we do have some new exciting news about Uber Uniques. Now, if you haven't heard, these are the items that have been dropping at a 1 in a million drop rate. There are only a handful of people in the entire world who have ever seen a single one of these drop, except for the few that farmed it when we had a little exploit dropping helmets. But that's been taken care of, so really, legitimate drops wise, there's only been a handful of people in the entire world. These are the legendary items that you only hear about, on the internet. You see YouTube videos about them, you see crazy drops of these, and overall they are extremely, extremely strong. Now, the news we got, which actually wasn't stated in the interview but corrected later by Blizzard, is that one of the new items coming in Season 1 is a Uber Unique. Now, this I do think is cool. I think adding more Uber Uniques would be great. Maybe a higher drop rate would be a little bit better too, and they did touch on that, saying that right now it's easier to increase the drop rate or create another way to get them, but it'd be hard to go in the reverse. Basically saying they don't want to make them too available and then have to scale them back later and people be upset. They'd rather make it super rare and then make creative ways for the players to get them. Now, overall, I think this could be cool, you know, doing something where the players, if they really want to grind it out, they can get a guaranteed one, like maybe 1 out of the 7. I think that could be super cool. You know, maybe you have to go all the way to 100, you know, beat a special boss on a special mode and you could get it. Overall, I think that would be great. I think it'd be super cool. And I think it would add something to grind for, especially in that late game where we're lacking content. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about is they touched on how heart sockets are going to work, specifically interacting with gem sockets. Now, heart sockets and gem sockets are separate things. So basically how it's going to work is you'll be able to slot gems in gem sockets and slot malignant hearts in heart sockets. Now, this is true on all body items and weapons. However, for jewelry, there will be no gems in jewelry anymore. It will only be heart sockets. Now, that is going to wrap up everything in this Forbes article. I'm glad to bring you guys the Diablo 4 news. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for future videos. With that, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.